Everybody's got two parents, but did two parents have us all? A new paper is challenging the scientific skepticism about Adam and Eve. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. This is Breakpoint. An oft-repeated claim by skeptics is that geneticists have disproved the possibility of Adam and Eve. Because existing human genetic diversity is so great, there can be no original couple from whom all people are descended. Or that's what we're told. Biology professor and author Dennis Venema summarizes this argument in his book, Adam and the Genome. In it, he claims every genetic analysis estimating ancestral population sizes has agreed that we descend from a population of thousands, not a single ancestral couple. Well, some Christian authors have reacted to this apparent scientific consensus by proposing new ways of reading Genesis that make Adam and Eve either mythological or not really our first parents. The goal is to accommodate theology and the Bible to what we're told is settled science. But what if the science on Adam and Eve isn't so settled? That's the argument of a new paper by Discovery Institute senior fellow and developmental biologist Ann Gauger and Swedish mathematician Ola Huscher, recently published in a journal called Biocomplexity. In order to test whether it really is impossible to account for modern variation in human beings by starting with just two people, these researchers did something that, incredibly, no one had tried before. They started with just two people and then ran the numbers. Using accepted population growth and mutation rates, Gauger and Huscher programmed a computer to start with a genetic Adam and Eve and replicate the known distribution of diversity in today's human population. Their results, to put it simply, fly in the face of the much-touted consensus. According to their model, a couple who shared some genetic markers could generate all the diversity we see today within about 2 million years, which Venema and others claimed was impossible. However, given two people who share no genetic markers, in other words, two people who weren't born but, say, were created with 4 unique sets of chromosomes, that time frame drops to a few 100,000, not millions of years. Writing at Evolution News, Gauger points out that further tweaks in the rates of population growth, structure, mortality, birth, and mutation could place that theoretical first couple even more recently in our history. In any case, the authors are careful to note that the point of their paper was not to date Adam and Eve or even to prove from a genetic standpoint that they existed. Rather, they just wanted to demonstrate that contrary to the oft-repeated claim, it's possible for all human beings to have descended from an original single pair. Of course, much more work remains to be done on the question, but the paper has served to clarify two things. First, the assumptions about the past that scientists bring to their research change their results. As Gauger explains, once our limitations in computing power were overcome, this experiment was an obvious way to test existing dogma on human origins. But as she put it, no one bothered because they believed that starting from 2 was useless. In fact, many researchers failed to use standard methods of modeling population genetics because of baked-in evolutionary assumptions. For example, one popular tool relies on comparisons between human and chimpanzee DNA to track mutations, something Gauger points out is useless if we don't share a common ancestor with chimps. Second, and more importantly, this paper hints at how tentative so-called settled science can be. Christians who rush to revise their understanding of characters like Adam and Eve in order to make way for the latest consensus should think more about the theological consensus they're tinkering with, like the fall, the image of God, original sin, creation, etc. And they should also consider all the untinkering they may have to do one day when the scientific consensus changes. For Breakpoint, I'm John Stonestreet.